What's happening, kids? Tim Kreitz here, Tim Kreitz Adventures. Well, I pulled the trigger and bought the Danmoto XG-1 full system for my FZ-07. And everybody warned me that this was going to be loud, and I knew they were loud exhausts because of EN187. The whole dem muffs hashtag and meme is all based on him putting Danmoto XG-1s on his Z1000. And I've had some loud bikes. You guys know I've ridden motorcycles since 1978. I'm in my mid-40s now. I've had over 20 motorcycles, and some of them have been pretty loud, and some of them I've made loud. But I'll tell you right now, nothing compares to the loudness of this exhaust system on this bike. It's hands down the loudest motorcycle I've ever had. Let's go for a ride. I'll show you. See what I mean? It's too loud. Sounds incredible, but it's just too loud. This actually might make a good comparison. These guys have straight pipes on their bikes. He's looking back at me. I'm going to say, of course I'm sitting on my bike, but I'm going to say that my bike was easily twice as loud. Even riding right beside them, I'm just covering them over. This is a loud exhaust. Okay, you got to admit, it does sound wicked. It's very addicting. Everybody looks at you. And so I know I'm being noticed. Motorists inside of closed cages are looking at me. Pedestrians, obviously. And I'm getting the attention of all the hot rodders who are trying to make noise too in a proverbial dick swinging contest, if you will. The upside to that is that obviously I'm more visible due to sound. Now you're going to have a lot of people telling you loud pipes don't save lives. Well, loud pipes can save lives. They don't always. But in fact, SpacePod has a really good motovlog on that subject. I'm not going to rehash what he says in his. I'll just put a link to it down below. But there actually are, and there's no outlet here. I got to make a turn. I'm going to go out this way. But when people can hear you, saying? So one thing I can tell you right now without question is that I've lost power on the low end. I've probably picked it up in the mid-range because it starts to pull really hard once it gets up there, but that constant fear of wheeling is now gone. And let's check the low end one more time. Definitely lost some, which makes sense. Then I'll let you hear the trailing throttle without me jack-jawing. with 70 or 75 horsepower shouldn't be this loud. Sounds like you're looking for a fight, and you ain't got any fight to give. Alright, my ears are literally worn out. I didn't think I was honestly going to need earplugs, and I did. So, let's head back to the garage. Let's have a little homebrew and a little garage talk, and we'll debrief on this whole Danmoto XG-1 thing. Alright guys, here's to you a little Tim Kreitz Copper Ale in your honor. Cheers! Oh my gosh, so delicious. I love making beer. Okay, so, holy crap, that's too loud. I can't allow that to stay as is. I think my next course of action is going to be to try the DB Killer set that is available for the Danmoto XG-1, about 18 bucks, 20 bucks, depending on where you order it. And I'm going to wait to fuel the bike with the EJK until I get those in. That's just going to wear me out if I have to listen to that all the time. As wicked as it sounds totally awesome. So the temptation to leave it like that is there, but I think that discretion should definitely be the better part of valor in this case, and I'm going to try to quiet it down a little bit. That's just the way it's got to be. A few notes on the Danmoto XG-1. I got that for about $269 directly from Danmoto, and that's the way to do it. You have to wait a little bit longer for shipping and that sort of thing, but you generally save 30, 40 bucks over the Amazon price or places like that, or going through a regular motorcycle distributor. It probably saved me at least 20 pounds in weight, probably more than that, because I think that entire full system on the Danmoto XG-1 weighs about 3.5 pounds, 4 pounds maybe, versus the close to 30 pounds I would wager to guess for the stock system. I am keeping the stock system. The stock system does sound very good with the drilling mod that I did, and if you haven't seen my video on modding the stock exhaust to make it louder and make it sound better, I will also link that in the description as well, so you can take a look at it. But that's kind of where I am on it. It's very addictive. It sounds very good. I felt like I was in a NASCAR race for that whole ride. I mean, it's just a wonderful thing to listen to, but it is very loud, and it is very attention-getting, and perhaps too attention-getting. Every time I was in the presence of a cop, which I was in the presence of 3 or 4 cops on that ride, I was actually self-conscious, and usually I don't care that there's a cop anywhere near me. But that's where we are right now. So I will leave all of that to your consideration, and in the meantime, we'll see you on the next episode of Tim Kreitz Adventures. Thanks, guys. Cheers. That's good beer.